or exterior, and this is the interior of the base of the skull. Okay. Exterior, which you can see from anterior to posterior direction, it is divided into three parts over here. Anterior part, alveolar process, in the posterior border of the patella, heart palate over here. And from the heart palate in the anterior margin of the foramen magnum is the intermediate part, and behind that, and including the famous part of the occipital bone, is the posterior part of the base of the skull. Okay. So from the anterior to posterior direction, what are the structures we are seeing over here? First of all, the alveolar process, which contains sockets for the teeth over here. Behind the incisors, there will be incisive fossa over here. That is separated from the rest of the palate by means of intermaxillary suture. Okay, this is the intermaxillary suture that is between the incisive fossa and the junction between the lateral incisor and the canine tooth. Can you understand? Lateral incisor and canine tooth, if you have to draw a line over here towards the incisive fossa over here. Okay, if you can't able to see, come over here. Okay, this is the incisive fossa. So this is the intermaxillary suture over here. Okay. So this part is a separate part of bone in case of childhood or in case of fetal life, that is termed as a premaxilla. Okay, this part of incisive fossa just behind the incisors is termed as a premaxilla. Premaxilla is a different bone in case of fetal life. Okay. And then that incisive fossa contains incisive foramen. Okay, few individuals will be having anterior and posterior incisive foramina. Few individuals will be having two lateral foramina, which carries the nasopalatine vessels nerves. Okay, nasopalatine vessels nerves. Okay, and also carries the greater palatine vessels nerves. Greater palatine vessels. Okay, greater palatine vessels. Okay, and behind that, this is the palatine process of the maxilla. Isn't it or not? Palatine process of the maxilla, which will be joined by a suture over here. And then behind that will be horizontal plates of the palatine bone. So both this palatine process and horizontal plates of the palatine bone joins by means of one more suture over here. As a whole, it will form a cruciform suture over here. It's suture cruciform suture. Can you see the cross over here? This is the cross. That's the cruciform suture. And if you come towards the posterior aspect of this hard palate, on either side you can see two foramina over here. What are those foramina? What are those foramina? What are those foramina? What are those foramina? Greater palatine foramina, through which greater palatine vessels and nerves will pass over here. Okay, these are the greater palatine foramina. Okay, towards the posterior border, on either side will be the greater palatine foramina, or you can say medial to the third molar tooth also. Okay, greater palatine foramina, which carries the greater palatine vessels and nerves. Okay, so just posterolateral to that, on the posterior aspect of the alveolar process, you can find two foramina on either sides. What are those? Lesser palatine foramina. So obviously they will be carrying lesser palatine vessels and nerves. So greater palatine foramen and lesser palatine foramina over here. Okay, at the junction between the alveolar process and the perpendicular plate of the palatine bone, you can find. Okay, and this is the posterior border of the hard palate over here. Just above the posterior border of the hard palate, you can see the raised margin over here. Can you see that? Right? See the raised margin over here, right? On either sides, right? This is the raised margin over the posterior border. Can you see that? This is the raised margin of the posterior border of the palatine bone. Okay. So in between the raised margin and the posterior border, there will be an area that is termed as the palatine crest. Okay. That palatine crest will lodge a muscle, nothing but the tensor vale palatine. And in between the two, at the middle of the posterior border, there is an elevated portion that is nothing but the posterior nasal spine. That will give rise to attachment of the two muscles on either sides. What are those? Sorry, one muscle on either side, nothing but which muscle, right? To the posterior nasal spine, one muscle will be attached on either sides. What is that muscle? Musculus uvulae. Okay, musculus uvulae will be attached on either side. To the crest, tensor vale palatini. To the spine, musculus uvulae. Okay, will be attached. Okay. And here will be the soft palate over here. Okay. So just behind the posterior border, there will be two openings. What are the two openings over here? Termed as choanae. Isn't it or not? Choanae. Or posterior nares. Okay. Separated by a bony ridge. That is nothing but. Which bone is this, right? Vomer bone. Okay. This is the posterior border of the vomer over here, which separates the two internal nares over here. Okay. So on either sides of the internal nares, you can find two processes which belongs to the sphenoid bone. What are the two processes? What are the two processes, right? These two processes are pterygoid processes, okay? Pterygoid processes, okay? The pterygoid process contains two plates. One is on the medial aspect, medial pterygoid plate, and one is on the lateral aspect, lateral pterygoid plate, okay? The posterior border will be having an elevated portion in the middle, okay? On the medial pterygoid plate, it is not present over here, it is lost, but there will be a elevated portion in the middle of the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate. What is the name of that part? No. Processus tubarius. Okay, processus tubarius over here. Okay. So that processus tubarius will be absolutely in the middle of the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate. Okay, that will support the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. Which part of the auditory tube? Cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. Okay. So below that will be the lower part of the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate gives rise to a fascia. Which fascia is that? Pharyngobasilar fascia. Pharyngobasilar fascia. There are two sorts of fascia in the pharynx. What are the two fascia? Pharyngobasilar fascia and what are the two fascia in the pharynx, right? Pharyngobasilar fascia and one more? Buccopharyngeal fascia. Buccopharyngeal fascia. Which one is anterior and which one is posterior?
Buccopharyngeal fascia is anterior.
No, it's opposite. So, okay. So whatever your favorite, this is the pterygoid hamulus. Can you see that? So to that which structure will be attached over here? Tensor vela palatal will be on the medial aspect. So to that, a raphe will be attached. What is that? Pterygomandibular raphe. Pterygomandibular raphe. Okay, pterygomandibular raphe will be attached to the pterygoid hamulus. Okay, and the muscle tensor fascia lata will be lying towards the lateral aspect of the, or if you see over here like this. So this is the medial pterygoid plate. Towards the lateral aspect, the tensor vela palatal will come over here and goes around the pterygoid hamulus and goes towards the crest. That's why tensor vela palatal will be lying in the crest and ultimately reaches the soft palate over here. Can you understand the course? So this tensor vela palatal actually arises from the spine of the sphenoid. From the spine of the sphenoid, it will go towards the lateral aspect of the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate and then turns at the level of the pterygoid hamulus and enters into the palatine crest and ultimately reaches the soft palate over here. Can you understand, everybody, right? And just if you trace above the posterior border of the medial pterygoid plate, there is a fossa. What is the name of the fossa? Scaphoid fossa. Okay, this is the scaphoid fossa. Scaphoid fossa. Okay. Just above and in between, just above the scaphoid fossa and in between the two pterygoid plates, there is a canal. What is the name of the canal? Pterygoid canal. Okay, pterygoid canal. Okay. I took the sphenoid for you, no? I took the sphenoid for you. Just, okay. This is the pterygoid canal. Okay. So behind this part, behind this anterior part, we are entering into the middle part over here, intermediate part. That contains the body of the sphenoid. Okay. This is the inferior surface of the body of the sphenoid and basi occiput. Okay, basi occiput. And then on either side will be two foramina. What are those foramina over here? What are the two foramina over here, right? At the junction between the body of the sphenoid and petrous parts of the temporal bone, what foramina will be present, right? At the junction between the apex of the petrous part and the body of the sphenoid, what foramina will be present? Foramen lacerum. Very good. Foramen lacerum. Which structures will pass through the foramen lacerum? One artery and one nerve. Internal carotid artery and adjacent nerve. Okay, very good. Okay, then lateral to that, lateral to the foramen lacerum, there is an foramen nothing which is oval in shape. What is the name of the foramen?
Foramen oval.
Foramen oval. Which structures will pass through that? Mandibular nerve. Okay, mandibular nerve will pass through that. Okay, just lateral to that, one more foramen will be present. Yeah. This is the foramen oval again. Just lateral to that will be one more foramen. What is the name of the foramen? Foramen? Foramen spinosum. Which structure will pass through the foramen spinosum? Nervus spinosus, which is a branch of mandibular nerve, and one more main vessel, which gives impression to the interior of the squamous part of the temporal bone. What is the vessel? Absolutely. middle meningeal artery. Middle meningeal artery goes through this and divides into anterior and posterior divisions and gives the impressions on the squamous part of the temporal bone. Okay, right. So, can you identify the foramen over here? On either sides of the body will be the foramen lucidum. Just lateral to that will be an oval opening, nothing but the foramen oval. Just lateral to that will be one more small opening, nothing but the foramen spinosum. Okay. So this foramen spinosum and foramen oval belongs to the greater wing of the sphenoid over here, and behind that will be the petrous part of the temporal bone. Okay. This is the anterior border of the petrous part of the temporal bone. This is the posterior border of the petrous part of the temporal bone. Okay. So whenever this greater wing of the sphenoid, this is the posterior border of the greater wing of the sphenoid, which contains the foramen oval and spinosum. When joins with the anterior border of the greater wing of the sphenoid, it forms a sulcus over here. That sulcus is termed as sulcus tubae. Sulcus tubae, which carries the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube. So trace the cartilaginous part of the auditory tube over here. So it will pass over here and ultimately reaches the process tubarius and ultimately opens into the nasopharynx over here. Can you understand? So cartilaginous part of the auditory tube will go over here and opens over here like this. Can you understand? So this part is the sulcus tubae. Can you understand everything? So the name itself indicates tubae, auditory tube. Okay. And here the process is tubarius. Again, one more tube. Gargi, I gave your pen to. Thank you. Okay. So coming to the inferior surface of the. Okay. Just lateral to this foramen spinosum, there is a fossa, nothing but the. Any other fossa? Mandibular fossa. Okay, what is that? Mandibular fossa, which lodges the head of the mandible over here. This mandibular fossa contains two parts. 15 minutes more, no, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? So this mandibular fossa, the anterior part is articular and posterior part is non-articular. This non-articular part is formed by which bone? Which part of the temporal bone? Which part of the temporal bone over here?
Mastoid.
Tympanic plate. So this part is the tympanic plate. You can see the external acoustic meatus. So this anterior-inferior part is formed by the tympanic plate. So this part of bone is the tympanic plate. That forms the non-articular part of the, what is it? Mandibular fossa. Why? Because the parotid gland will be lying in front of the ear and that will be overlapping over here. So that's why it will not allow head of the mandible to articulate with the tympanic plate. So that's why it becomes non-articular over here because of the presence of the parotid gland over here. Can you understand everybody, right? And this articular part will form the articular tubercle, which is formed by which bone over here? Which part of the bone? Which part of the bone? Which part of the bone, right? So this articular tubercle is formed by which part of the temporal bone? The last fellow? Which part of the bone, right? Tympanic bone, that's why I'm asking which part of the temporal bone. Non-articular part is formed by mandibular fossa, articular part is formed by which part of the temporal bone, and non-articular part is formed by which part of the temporal bone. So how many parts the temporal bone have? It's okay, fine. Okay, so the inferior border of the tympanic plate contains a process. What is that process? Styloid process. Okay, the inferior border splits into two lips and encloses by the styloid process. Various muscles and ligaments will be attached. We have discussed all that. Is it or not? So lateral to the styloid process, there will be a mastoid process. In between the styloid process and mastoid process, there is a foramen. What is that? Foramen? Stylomastoid foramen, through which nerve will pass? Which nerve will pass, right? In between the styloid process and mastoid process, which foramen is present? Foramen lucidum, isn't it or not? Foramen lucidum, right? Right, that's good. Okay? So in between the styloid process and mastoid process, there is a foramen, nothing but the stylomastoid foramen, through which nerve will pass? Which nerve will pass? Facial nerve will pass. Okay? Facial nerve will pass. Okay. So towards the inferior surface of the petrous part of the temporal bone, there is an opening over here. What is the name of the opening? This one? towards the inferior surface of the petrous part of the temporal bone. Carotid canal, through which structure will pass? Through which structure will pass? Right? Through the carotid canal, which structure will pass? Okay. How many wants to get honors, right? In the final exam, how many wants to get honors? Raise your hands. Okay. Fine. How many wants to pass? Okay. Okay. Just behind the carotid canal. So this is the posterior border of the petrous part of the temporal bone, and this is the basic occiput of the occipital bone. So in between these two, there will be an opening, a bigger opening that is nothing but which foramen? Jugular foramen, through which structure will pass? Many structures will pass through the jugular foramen. At least few structures. Jugular foramen is divided into three compartments. One is anterior, intermediate, and posterior. Anterior compartment will carry which sinus? Posterior compartment will carry? Anterior compartment will carry inferior petrosal sinus, and middle compartment will carry three nerves. What are those nerves? 9, 10 and 11 nerves. 10 and 11 nerves. Okay. Okay. So this is the jugular foramen over here. Just in front of the jugular foramen, there is a fossa. Sorry, just in front of the jugular foramen, there is a fossa. What is the fossa? Jugular fossa, which lodges superior bulb of the internal jugular vein. Superior bulb of the internal jugular vein. Okay. Right. And if you go backwards towards the foramen magnum, on either side there will be condylar processes. Above the condylar process, there will be a opening. What is that opening? What is that opening? Hypoglossal canal, which carries which nerve? Hypoglossal nerve. Any other vessels over here? Emissary vein, which connects the sigmoid sinus with the posterior auricular vein, and then one more artery, the meningeal branch of the ascending pharyngeal artery. Okay, we will be passing through the, what is this? Hypoglossal canal. Okay, so these are the condylar process. Behind the condylar process will be the condylar fossa. Sometimes it will have a foramen over here that carries the emissary veins. Again, they connect the same structures. Okay. And this is the foramen magnum. The foramen magnum, what are the structures? What are the ligaments will be attached over here to the clivus? The membrana tectoria above, and next to that will be the upper band of the cruciate ligament, and below will be the a ligament from dens. What is that? Apical ligament. Absolutely, apical ligament. So three ligaments will be attached over here, and then behind that there will be fourth part of the vertebral arteries, and then from behind that will be medulla oblongata, and behind that will be in front and behind of the spinal cord will be anterior and posterior spinal arteries. Is it or not? And to the margins, which membranes will be attached to the foramen magnum? Anterior and posterior atlanto-occipital membranes. Okay, is it or not? Right. That's good. That's good. Okay. And then this is the posterior margin of the foramen magnum, and above that there will be inferior nuchal lines. In between those two, there will be two muscles. What are those muscles? What are the muscles? Right? No. In between the foramen magnum and the inferior nuchal lines. Yesterday we have discussed. What is that? Rectus capitis posterior major and rectus capitis posterior minor. Okay. Rectus capitis posterior major and rectus capitis posterior minor will be attached over here. Okay. And above the inferior nuchal lines, there will be superior nuchal lines. What are the muscles which are attached over here? It's okay. Okay, what are the muscles which are attached to the jugular process over here? So, find it out and tell me later. Okay. There is no time, there is not much time. So, what is this crest over here? What is the crest, right? Basic thing. External occipital crest over here. And what is this process? What is this elevation over here? Protuberance, external occipital protuberance. Easiest thing. No? Okay, this crest will give attachment to which thing, which structure? Ligamentum nuchae. Ligamentum nuchae. Okay. So this is about the exterior. Okay. Can you identify the structures? What is this fossa?
This is a fossa.
What is this sulcus? Intermaxillary sulcus. What is this suture? Cruciate suture. What is the border? Posterior border of the palatine. What is this crest? Palatine crest. What are these foramina? greater palatine
Greater
foramina,
palatine.
and what are these foramina? Lesser palatine
Lesser
foramina. These two processes are the pterygoid
Pterygoid
processes.
processes.
Pterygoid hangulus over here, okay. Pterygoid fossa over here, scaphoid fossa, and what is this canal in between the two pterygoid plates?
Okay.
What is the canal between the two pterygoid plates? Just above the scaphoid fossa. Pterygoid canal, obviously. Pterygoid canal. What is this foramen over here? Foramen ovale. And later to that will be one more foramen over here.
Foramen spinous.
Foramen spinosum. Foramen ovale, foramen spinosum. Okay. Then what is this part of, what is this sulcus in between the greater wing and the anterior border of the fetus part of the temporal bone? This is sulcus, I told you. Sulcus
Sulcus
tuber.
tuber.
That largest cartilage bit part of the auditory. Very good. And then this process and this foramen, mastoid foramen. This one,
Mastoid
mastoid
process.
process. Okay. And these processes are
Or dilated.
this one,
Foramen.
this one,
Hypoglossal.
hypoglossal canal. And this fossa, mandibular fossa. And this one, this fossa, on either sides of the pterygoid plates. Infratemporal fossa. Infratemporal fossa. Okay, this fossa on either sides of the pterygoid plates, lateral pterygoid plates will be the infratemporal fossa. Which muscle will be lodging over there? Lateral pterygoid muscle. Sorry, lateral, what is it? Lateral pterygoid muscle. Lateral pterygoid. So what is this foramen?
Foramen lacera.
Which structures will pass through that? Adjacent nerve and one more. Or artery. Internal carotid artery. So, okay. So coming to the interior over here, see here, in the middle there will be a frontal crest to which structure will attach? Which structure? Which fold of the dura mater? Falx cerebri. Falx cerebri will attach. Then followed by the crista galli. In between the crista galli and the crest will be, there is a foramen cecum. Foramen cecum. Then followed by, on either sides of the crista galli, there will be a sieve, nothing but the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone over here. And then on either sides of the ethmoid bone, there will be orbital plates of the frontal bone. And then behind that will be the jugum sphenoidal over here. And ethmoidal spine. Okay. And with the greater wings of the sphenoid. Sorry, lesser wings of the sphenoid. Everything will form the anterior cranial fossa over here. Okay. So the limiting point for the anterior middle cranial fossa are the posterior borders of the lesser wings of the sphenoid. Okay, lesser wings of the sphenoid. Okay. So this contains the frontal lobes of the cerebral hemispheres. Okay. And behind that will be the middle cranial fossa, which lodges the temporal lobes of the cerebral hemispheres. And what are the structures over here? The sulcus chiasmaticus. On either sides of the sulcus chiasmaticus, there will be two openings. What are those openings? Optic canals, which carries the optic nerve over here. And then below the lesser wings of the sphenoid, there will be two fissures over here. Superior optal fissure. So if you follow the curvature of the greater, below the superior optal fissure will be the foramen rotundum, which carries nerve. Foramen rotundum carries the mandibular nerve, and later foramen spine here. This is the fissure. This is the foramen here. Then followed by the foramen ovale. Then followed by the foramen spinosum. Okay. So this is the order of arrangement of the curvature of the greater wing of the sphenoid. Okay. Just medial to that, medial to these things, greater wings will be the body of the sphenoid, superior surface of the body of the sphenoid. That contains the tuberculum cella, then followed by the hypophyseal fossa, then followed by the tuberculum cella. Okay. So this contains the entire middle cranial fossa. Okay. You know the contents of the hypophyseal fossa. Which structure will lie in the hypophyseal fossa? Hypophyseal fossa. Which structure will lie, right? Hypophyseal fossa lodges which structure? Anybody? Very good. That's good. Find it out and tell me later. Okay. Fine. Alright. Okay. So this is about the middle cranial fossa. Middle cranial fossa is formed by what are the bones? The greater wing of the sphenoid over here. Then followed by the anterior surface of the petrous part of the temporal bone, and then followed by the squamous part of the temporal bone again. So three bones will form the middle cranial fossa. Okay. And then the limiting point between the middle cranial fossa and posterior cranial fossa is the superior border of the petrous part of the temporal bone. Okay. Behind the superior part will be the posterior surface of the petrous part of the temporal bone. The posterior surface gives rise to a opening nothing but the internal acoustic meatus. This is the external acoustic meatus. And towards the posterior surface of the petrous part of the temporal bone, this is the internal acoustic meatus over here. Okay. And then on either sides there will be the mastoid part of the temporal bone that contains the sigmoid sinus over here. This is the sigmoid sinus over here. Okay. Behind that will be the occipital squamous part of the occipital bone that lodges the cerebellum below and occipital lobes above, separated by a fold of curomator that is nothing but tentorium cerebellae. Okay, tentorium cerebellae. Okay, fine. So in the center of the squamous part of the occipital bone, there will be the foramen magnum over here. Above that, towards the squamous part, there will be two sulci on either side, transverse sulci, which will be continuous with the sigmoid sulcus over here, right? And above will be the sagittal sulcus, which lodges the falx cerebri, and below that will be the internal occipital crest, which gives attachment to the structure falx cerebellae over here. Below that there will be a triangular fossa, that is nothing but the vermian fossa, which lodges the vermis of the cerebellum. Okay, getting it or not? Right. So these are the structures of the interior of the base of the skull. I will show you what is this part. Cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone, and this is the crista galli over here. So this is the frontal crest, and this is the jugum sphenoidal over here. And what are the foramina over here? These are the optic canals. These are the superior orbital fissures just below that, and then followed by the foramen rotundum over here. Then below that will be the foramen ovale, then followed by foramen spinosum. At the junction between the petrous part and the body of the sphenoid, there is a foramen nothing but foramen lacerum. Whatever you are seeing on the outer aspect, the same will be on the internal aspect. That is nothing but the foramen lacerum over here. Okay. So this is the basic occiput. These are the condylar processes on either side. Just below that, above that, these are the canals, nothing but the hypoglossal canals, which carries the hypoglossal nerve. And this is the foramen magnum. Okay, squamous part, transverse sulci and sigmoid sulci over here. And there is a foramen between the petrous part of the temporal bone and basic occiput, nothing but the jugular foramen, which carries different structures. What I have told you already, right? And this is the internal occipital crest. Below that will be the vermian fossa, which lodges the vermis of the cerebellum. Okay, clear or not? So carry on.